So today we're going to be in the kitchen and we're going to be doing baked beans with bacon. You can't have baked beans without bacon, right? Hi friends, welcome to Homemade and Homegrown. Welcome back. My name is Tammy, for those of you who do not know me. I'm new to YouTube and I am on a journey to learning about growing food, canning my own food, raising my own meat. I raise chickens for both my eggs and my meat. I will be stretching out eventually to probably raising my own pigs and beef. But today we're going to, motorcycle. Today we're going to be in the kitchen and we're going to be canning baked beans. So canning baked beans. So this is going to be my first time doing that. And it is probably about a 6 to 7 hour process. But in the end, it's going to be so worth it. You processed your own canned beans and you know the ingredients that are inside, and it just gives you a little bit more peace as to what you're preparing for you and your family. We're in uncertain times, and nowadays, especially with this, that's going on, it's opened the door for many to begin preserving their own food, maybe even stocking a little bit, But I think this has encouraged and inspired a lot of people to be doing that, and I'm one of them. I'm really enjoying the journey of learning how our ancestors used to preserve and prepare their foods and keep it stocked for year round. I live in a cold climate in the winter. It gets pretty cold here and a lot of snow. I am located here in Canada, New Brunswick, Canada. And so we don't have a very long growing season either. We've only got basically from the end of May till September-ish to grow as much food as we can. The majority of our growing season, the time that we have to grow things is very short. So we have to try and get as much of that in the ground and growing as quickly as possible, if that makes any sense. So like I said, we're going to be in the kitchen today and we're going to be doing baked beans. Now I've got some of the process already started this morning, so let's go inside and see how far I've gotten so far. Okay guys, we're in the kitchen. So I'm going to catch you up to where I'm at. First of all, I want to tell you that I am following the recipe in this cookbook, the Amish Canning Cookbook. I'm really liking this cookbook. So if you don't have it and you're new at canning, this is the canning cookbook that I definitely recommend for new beginners like myself. So, but all you pros out there probably don't need that. But anyway, some really great recipes that maybe you may not have. So anyway, so we're going with baked beans, Boston style, with bacon. So what I've done in the recipe so far is I've taken my beans. That's hot. Okay, I've taken my beans. These are navy beans. And I had them soaking in cold water, believe it or not, for 3 days. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it for 3 days, but the reason why I did it for the full 3 days, what I did was, first of all, I'll give you the reason first. It removes a lot of the gases, especially when it comes to navy beans, so that because when you're boiling navy beans, you're gonna see a film, like a foam, that develops on top of the water once it's boiling, and that's the gases that are being released from the bean. So you can scrape that, as you're going along while it's boiling, but I just think it's a lot easier to let the beans soak for a full 24 hours, rinse the beans, put fresh new water in again, let that sit for another day. And well, you could do it for the 24 hours, but I did it for the 3 days. But the third day was only because I had an issue with my stove. And when it comes to canning, pressure canning, I should say, when it comes to pressure canning, my stove doesn't hold a steady heat. So I'm gonna have to do it on my propane burner, which is set up outside. So I had to get my husband to bring that propane burner up, this is a burner that we use when we're scalding our chickens, when we're processing them. I should put that disclaimer, they're already dead. But anyway, so I had to get him to bring that propane tank up with the burner and the big pot that we use. So that's why it ended up being a third day. So you can do it for 24 hours or for 48 hours. It's entirely up to you. But I've noticed since I have done that 3 days, and now that I'm bringing them up to a boil, there was barely any of the foam coming up. So what you do is put fresh water in the pot and bring that to a boil and let it boil for an hour to an hour and a half. So that's what this has done. This is what I've done so far this morning. Sorry, I can't talk today. So that's been boiling for an hour and a half. Now, I had taken some of the beans out of there to put in my crock pot, oven pot, whatever you want to call it, to make the baked beans. Now at that stage, they're in the pot, you can can them just like that, and then you can add them to your recipes as you go, and then they'll get flavored when you're making your recipes. Now if you're doing baked beans, canning baked beans, then you got to do this extra step. Now this step is what takes the longest. Okay, so what you're going to need is, if you've got a pen, write this down. I'm going to read out your recipe for baked beans, or you can take a screenshot if you wanted. Let me see if I can get that straight for you. You can take a screenshot, but baked beans, Boston style. So it's 5 pounds of navy beans, which is approximately 10 cups of dried beans. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of molasses. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, don't use the iodized table salt. You're not supposed to use that salt when you are canning or pressure canning. So you want to make sure that it's like a sea salt or a Himalayan salt. So don't use table salt. Half a teaspoon of pepper, black pepper. 1 teaspoon of powdered mustard, which looks like so. Okay. Then you're going to do 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. If you know how to say it, comment below, say I know how to say it. Worcestershire sauce. There. I know how to say it. Okay, then you're going to need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 3 slices of bacon, and you're going to cut them into 1-inch pieces. Okay, so you're going to bring that mixture to a boil point, put it in a pot, bring it to a boiling point, and then take it off the heat and just leave it. This recipe is calling for bringing the beans to a boil, which we've done. So put dry beans in a large pot and add enough water to cover by 2 inches. bring to a boil, turn off heat, cover and let set for 1 hour, drain. This is the way that you would do a speeding up process of softening your beans, rehydrating your beans, I guess I should say, if you're not going to leave them overnight. So if you want to speed up the process, put your beans in a large pot, bring them to a boil. I strongly suggest, I know it says here to bring to a boil and then turn off the heat, but I think if you boil them for 1 hour and then let it set for 1 hour, then drain, you're going to get a better consistency, like a better feel of the bean. Like it'll be more soft. Place the drained beans back in the large pot and add fresh water to cover, bring to a boil, and boil for 5 minutes. Drain this time, reserving the cooking liquid. In a large saucepan, mix together the molasses, vinegar, salt, pepper, mustard, the Worcestershire sauce, and brown sugar, plus add 5 cups of the reserved cooking liquid from your beans. Okay, heat it all to a boil, turn off heat, and let set. So that's what I've done. So that's what I was just saying. Bring your recipe up to a boil. So that's where we're at. Now in a large Dutch oven, that's what I should be calling it, because now you're going to bake the beans for a few hours at 350 degrees. So set your oven at this point at 350. In a large Dutch oven, mix together the beans and the bacon and pour on the sauce. Okay, so that's what we've done. Bring it down. Okay. Now this has been in the oven already, and I just took it out so that I can start videoing. I thought I'm going to do a video on my beans, because at first I was going to try it first before I did this. Okay, all right, so now that you've done that, you're going to put them in the oven at 350 and covered for 3 to 4 hours. I've got the clock set for 4.5 or 4 hours and 15 minutes to be exact. So we're going to put them back in the oven. Okay, and let them continue. Now they still have 3 hours to go on my timer. It says here, as you're cooking it, you can be adding, if you find that your beans are drying out, and if you run out of cooking liquid, you can simply use boiled water and just add some water until you're happy with, how moist it is. Once you've done that, I'm going to bring you back when it comes to that point, which is the canning part. So the canning part is going to be filling your hot jars with the hot baked beans. Okay, so I've got my jars all washed and sterilized, and they are ready. So I've just got them here sterilizing. Now I'm going to turn them off because I've still got 3 hours to go before I need those jars to be hot. And then, so when that time comes, I'm going to bring you back and we'll get filling the jars, and I'm going to show you how to pressure can your baked beans. So we'll be right back, okay? Okay guys, we're not quite there yet. Everything is still baking. I still have exactly 31 minutes left for the baked beans, but I've still got lots left, so I have plans on making regular beans that I can add to like tacos or chili, things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to can some regular beans just as they are in the pot. With my canner, I've got the Presto canner, and I can do, I believe it's 14 quarts, which are the big ones. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is a taco season blend, What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pressure canner ready. So I have to put in 3 inches of water in the bottom. Do not fill it. I've heard some people mistaken that they have to fill the pot up with water. You don't do that with pressure canning, because what you're really doing with pressure canning is you're eliminating the air from the jar, and it's being pulled out and replaced, I think, with steam. So if I'm wrong, please correct me if you know the difference and comment below. But it's really just to pull out the air out of the jar. So what you're going to do is you're going to put 3 inches. And what I love about the canners, at least with this one, is that it has markers. Where is it? There it is. It's because it got stained a bit. And even though I put vinegar in it, the first time I used it, I did green beans in them. And this happened. But anyway, there's a marker, 3 different markers on how, depending on what you're doing. But anyways, I'm going to fill that up. I'm going to get that started warming up on my propane canner thing outside, because this has to happen outside, unfortunately. So we're going to put some water in that, get that warmed up. The beans are already hot, and so I'm going to start filling the beans up in the jars. I'm going to do probably a teaspoon of the taco seasoning. I just got this at Costco. You can get it at your local grocery store. But I'll be doing probably a teaspoon, maybe even a teaspoon and a half of the taco seasoning. Okay guys, we're going to get filling up some jars here. My quart jars are sitting in hot water right now to keep them warm. My pint jars are in here keeping them warm. And this is the beans. I'm going to bring them closer to us. Okay. So we're going to measure out 2 cups of beans for the quarts. 1, 2. We're going with a teaspoon of taco seasoning. I'm just going to open this up so I can get at it. I'm going to do like a heaping teaspoon. Okay, and then we're going to use the water from the beans, and we need to leave 1 inch headspace. So the 1 inch headspace is right at the bottom. Here, let me bring you, sorry. Right here, right at the rim. That's the 1 inch headspace. Okay, stir that around a bit just to release any air pockets that could be there. Now we're going to wipe our rim, which is dabbing some into some vinegar, just in case no spices or bean juice or anything like that may have got on top. Okay, there we go. We've got my magnetic lid lifter. So what I'm going to do is get a lid from this pot with hot water in it. Put that on top and grab a ring. Fingertip tight. You don't want to reef on it or really like put it on tight or anything like that. We want the air to come out, right? So just make sure that it's fingertip tight. Like just, now I'll get this in the canner. I'll be right back. Okay, we'll do that again. 1, 2. The bean water going in. Oh, I forgot to put the juice in, the taco seasoning in. Okay, we're almost there. Alright, okay, debubble my seasoning in. Just going to debubble again, mix that seasoning around. Wipe the jar. See, some seasoning got on there, so make sure you wipe your jars because you just never know. The slightest little bit of seasoning could compromise your seal. Okay, I'll be right back again. I'm outside, see? I have to travel outside to where the jar is. Okay, I'm going to get all these filled and get the canner filled, and I'll bring you right back instead of saying I'll be right back after each can. So guess what? I just came to the realization that I can't put two different size cans or jars in my canner because there's a 10-minute difference in processing. So see, this is all the lessons and learning of about canning. So I have to think, do I want to do them in the big jars or in the small? And I'd rather preferably the smaller jars. I'm going to have to take out those beans and put them in the small jars. Okay guys, here's my setup. Propane tank hooked up to the burner and the pot is ready. I decided to just go ahead with the quarts. So I've got 7 quarts in here. I'm going to now put the lid on it. Okay, lid is on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this to heat up, and there's going to be steam that's going to come out of here. We want that to be a continuous stream of steam. And once we do that, once that happens, then we're going to set the timer for 10 minutes because we want that to be steady for 10 minutes. Once the 10 minutes is up, then I'm going to put a weight on there, and that's when the pressure is going to start building up here on the dial gauge. My altitude is 69 feet. So I'm going to be doing to 10 pounds, no more than 11 pounds of pressure. So once that weight is on here, that's when the pressure is going to start building. I'm going to keep it for, it has to be processed for 90 minutes for quarts. So that means I got to make sure that that stays steady right there for 90 minutes. Also, the baked beans have just, the timer just went off, so I'm not going to be quite ready for them, but I'm just going to keep them in the oven. I've turned the heat off, well, I've turned it low to keep them warm. So once that 90 minutes is up, then of these beans being processed, then I'm going to start the processing part of the baked beans. Okay guys, so we had to change out the burner. This one wasn't burning like a nice blue flame. So anyway, we switched it out real quick before anything got started. And now I've got a timer for 10 minutes for this steam. You want a steady flow of steam. You can't see that, but anyway, steady flow of steam coming out for 10 full minutes. I got 5 minutes left, and then I'm going to put this weight on top of the steam nozzle there. Okay, I put the weight on, and now I'm waiting for that to build up to 10 pounds. Okay guys, the timer went off. It's been processing for 90 minutes. So now what we do is we allow this to cool all on its own. You do not touch it. You wait until the pressure gauge gets down to 0, and then usually about another 5 minutes after that, then you can check to see if there's any steam coming out of your vent, which is under your weight. This nipple should be dropped completely down, and including your emergency nipple there, that should be completely down as well. So as soon as that's all cooled off, then I'll bring you back and we'll see what the finished product looks like. Okay, excuse everybody talking there in the background, but we have reached 0. I took the weight off the vent. Whoops, sorry, off the vent. This is completely down. Everything's down. The emergency nipple here, that's down. Pot's still, hot, of course, but we're going to remove the lid. Unlocked. And away. Oh, that smells good. That smells really good, guys. Okay, here we go. That's what it looks like now. All right, so we're gonna bring these inside. Smells like tacos. Okay, there we go, guys. Taco beans. So you let that sit for 24 hours. Now we're going to move on to processing the baked beans. Okay, so we've pulled the baked beans out. Throughout the time that it's been cooking, I've been gradually adding like 1 cup of water just to keep it hydrated, because at one point it did dry up a bit. So, but they're all nicely cooked. That looks really yummy. Okay, so I'm going to put them in the pint jars this time. So these are nice and hot, ready to take the beans, and then we're going to put them right back into the pressure canner. These ones have to process for 65 minutes, not 90. All right. So this is 1 cup. Two cup. So you got to leave a 1-inch head space. So we're going to just debubble, make sure we got no air pockets. Get myself some more vinegar. Okay, so we've debubbled. And now we're going to wipe the rims. Now this is really hot, guys, so again, be careful. But wipe the rims. Then we'll put a lid on. Like so. And finger clip tight. Put your ring on. And put it in your pressure canner. Okay, we'll keep going. Okay, do this one with you, and then I'll fill the rest up and we'll bring you right back. One, two. Debubble. I think I might have a little too much beans. Hold on, let me check. Just a tiny bit. Let me get a spoon and remove some of those. Because you want your beans fully submerged under the juice. Like so. You want it all submerged. Alright, wipe. Lid. Ring. Fingertip tight. Oh God, that's hot. Okay, and in the canner it goes, right behind you. I've got the canner. Okay, as soon as I get these all filled, we'll be right back. Okay, you gotta hate that one. The recipe says that it's gonna give you 9 pint jars, and it's only given me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 full pint jars, and I can't even process this one. Okay, well that's disappointing. All right. I'm gonna have to process 6 pint jars. Hi guys, how I've got 37 minutes left of this processing time. I had to put some boards up because the wind kept blowing the flame out, and if your pressure gauge drops lower than it should, you have to start the whole processing all over again, and I am not going to do that. So anyway, I was just thinking, you know what, because I didn't get enough jars that I was expecting, the next time I do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook and boil the beans, have them ready like they are, they were in the pot there, and then make the sauce that I'm going to use for the baked beans. Put the sauce in the jar with the beans, and then and I can use the big quart jars then, and then when I'm going to open up a can, I could open up a few of them, or jar. I gotta say jar. Anyway, open up a couple of the jars and then throw them in my roaster, and then just bake them then. When I think that was going to be a lot easier than going ahead baking the beans, like cooking them, baking them, and then getting them processed into these jars. So it's taken a lot longer too than I expected. And again, this is my first time, and you learn as you go, right? For me, I think the next time I'm going to do this, that makes more sense to me, to cook the beans, put the beans in the jar, make the sauce, and then pour the sauce in. I think that's going to be easier. But anyway, like I said, you live and learn. This has been totally out of my comfort zone, and but I wanted to challenge myself in learning how to do this. So most people will start out with just like getting used to water bath canning. I think I've got the hang of that. It's this pressure canning. And pressure canning can be intimidating. Like, I have to admit, I haven't exhaled yet. It's just, it is an anxious feeling, or an uncertain, unsure feeling. If everything's going okay in there, you can't see what's going on. Although I did see a pot online where it has the clear top, and where you get to see what's going on. I don't know, that might be one of my next purchases. We'll see. But yeah, I just getting used to this pressure canning, I should say. Getting used to the pressure canning is definitely getting out of my comfort zone. You see, it's just slightly going over the 11 pounds, and I don't want that. So I've been having to mess with this dial right here, and turning it up and down, up and down, up and down, because the wind keeps messing with the flame under there. And I think it just went out. Okay, here we go. Smells really good. Now we're gonna go straight up. Don't hit the jar coming up. There you go. You're kidding. You're popping already? So what I'm going to do, because I still have beans left in the pot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the beans in the jar, make up some more sauce, pour the sauce in, and then process them that way. What a day. Okay, so in total, 6 baked beans. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quart jars of taco beans. This is taco seasoning only with the beans and hot water. So that's a productive day. And the other cans that you see was from when I did the strawberry jam. If you didn't see that video, go back and check that out. It's canning strawberry jam for the first time. And I did quite a lot. But anyway, we did her. We did her. We got her done. Okay. Again, that took me right out of my comfort zone with this whole pressure canning. If you haven't pressure canned, comment below and let me know what your biggest concern is when it comes to pressure canning. I know me, it's been kind of like that whole explosion thing that is known to happen, but it very rarely happens. But you still got that knot in your stomach, especially when you're first time doing it. Ping, that's what we want to keep hearing from being the first time doing it. So you just never know what's gonna happen. Right? So anyway, thanks for coming with me on this journey today. We've got the air conditioner going because it's been really hot these last few days, so sorry about the background noise. But anyway, I just want to thank you for joining me today. I don't know if you've learned anything, but I know I did. And I did learn one thing, is that I have to be patient during the process. Something that I have a hard time with, so I need God's help for that. Anyway, I think now I can exhale. We got through it. Anyway, again, thanks for stopping by my homemade and homegrown channel. Hope to see you again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you like the content, or even just out of sheer pity for me, like the video and maybe share it so that maybe your friends will get a laugh. But anyway, you can tell it's been a long day, but a productive day and a satisfying day. So that's the end result that we're looking for. It gives me great joy knowing that I'm going to be able to store these, you know. And again, I've got more to do tomorrow, but today was definitely going to be my learning curve. So anyway, talk to you later. Hope to see you again in the next video. God bless. Oh, and to my Canadian friends, happy Canada Day. Canada Day. Let's try that again. Happy Canada Day. And my American friends, happy Independence Day this weekend. God bless us all. Bye for now.